Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you how to convert on the metric system within the metric units. And I just want to show you why the metric system is so advantageous when it comes to things like this. If we were to ask you, how many yards are in 6 inches? Well, this is not too hard. You just have to convert 6 inches to feet by dividing it by 12. And then you've got to convert that to yards by dividing it by 3. So you have two kind of different steps, and that's fine for 6 divided by 12. You get the half and then divided by 3. But what if I said, how many yards are in 12.245 inches? That would be a totally different story. So the metric system is based on 10, and so you get something that's much easier. So 1,000 meters is 10 decameters is 10 hectometers. Sorry, I said that wrong. 1,000 meters is 100 decameters is 10 hectometers is 1 kilometer. Notice that it's all divisible by 10. So if I had 2,050 meters, then it would be 205 decameters. It would be 20.5 hectometers, and it would be 2.05 kilometers. So the number doesn't change because everything's divisible by tens or multiples of tens. So basically, in order to understand the metric system, we need to know the prefixes. So we know that we measure things in meters for distance, liters for volume, liquid volume, and grams for mass. But we can change the meaning of those by adding prefixes. If we add the prefix of kilo, that means we have 1,000 units, or we multiply that by 1,000. If we have 100 that we're going to multiply it by, then we say hecto. Deca means 10 of those units, and then we can even have parts of units, deci, centi, and milli. And basically, each of these, if you're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to multiply by 10 for each step. So if you had 1 kilogram, you multiply it by 10, and that tells you have 10 hectograms. Multiply by 10, you'd have 100 decagrams. Multiply by 10, and that would be 1,000 grams. Okay, so, and then 10,000, 100,000, 1 million grams would be the same as 1 kilogram, or 1 million milligrams is the same as 1 kilogram. And going the other way, you would divide. So if you had 100 meters, you would have 10 decameters and 1 hectometer and 0.1 kilometers. So basically, let's see how this works. If you have a problem where you're told 4 kilometers, and you want to know how many meters. Well, look, meter here, this M, it's meters without a prefix. That means it's right here at our basic unit. But this one that we start with, that's 4 meters with kilo in front of it. That means it starts here at this prefix. So if I'm going to go from kilo to the basic unit, I go 1, 2, 3. That means I would take the 4 and I'd multiply it by 10 to get 40 hectometers, by 10 to get 400 decameters, and by 10 to get 4,000 meters. And so the thing is that that's all great, but there's an easier way too, and I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so basically in the metric unit, you have prefixes that go here. So when you're here, this unit thing, this is meters, grams, and liters with no prefix. So you'll see it written like 4 meters or 17.6 grams or 20 liters. So they don't have anything but one letter. If instead you have something like 23 kilometers. You know that that means meters times 1,000 times 23. Okay, so to convert between different, maybe you've got something measured in kilometers and you want to know how many meters it is. So let's say 23 kilometers. How many meters is that? So our starting point is at meters with the K prefix. Start right here, and we want to end at meters. So we want to end right here, meters with no prefix. And so I'm going to write the 23 here. It doesn't have a decimal point, so I'm going to just put the decimal point where it would naturally go. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go to hecto, to deca, to meters. I made 3 jumps. Now, in reality, what I'm doing is I'm going 23 times 10 would be 230, times 10 again would be 2,300, and times 10 again would be 23,000. But if I don't want to spend my time multiplying, I can just go, okay, I went 1, 2, 3 jumps. So I'm going to take the decimal point and I'm going to move it 3 jumps in the same direction. 1, 2, 3, and it lands here. So I've got to move that decimal point, and then I've got to fill in any empty spaces with zeros. So that's 23,000 meters is the same as 23 kilometers. So let's try another problem. Okay, so for this problem, I have 265.7 centimeters, and I want to know how many kilometers it is. So in order to do this problem, I'm going to notice that I have meters with the C prefix. So I'm starting at the prefix of C. That's my starting point. And I want to go to meters with a K. Okay, meters with a K is all the way over here. K is over here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I hit every unit in between. I made 5 jumps going in that direction. So now I've got to take my decimal point that's here, and I'm going to move it in the same direction 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now my decimal point will be there instead of there. And now I've got to fill in with 2 zeros in front of that. So my answer ends up being 0.00265 kilometers. If I had done that by hand, I would have had to have originally taken that 265.7 centimeters, and I would have had to go 265.7 divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10. I would have had 5 steps to do, but with this, you just make your jumps and move the decimal point. So let me do one more problem. So for this problem, I have 3.6 liters. Let me make that bigger, decimal point. 3.6 liters, and I want to know how many kiloliters it is. So notice I'm starting where I have liters that has no prefix in front of that letter. It's just the single letter. That means I'm going to start here at my base units. So I'm going to start at my base units, and I want to end at liters with a kilo prefix. Here is the kilo prefix. So I've got to jump to deca, to hecto, to kilo. That's 1, 2, 3 jumps. I'm going to take the decimal point and go 1, 2, 3 jumps. I've got 2 empty spaces to fill in, so my answer is going to be 0.0036 kiloliters is the same as my original starting of 3.6 liters. So that's how you quickly convert between prefixes in the metric system. Again, if you're going in this direction what you're actually doing is dividing by 10 each step. So 3.6 divided by 10 is 0.36, divided by 10 is 0.036, divided by 10 again is 0.0036. If instead you were going in this direction, say going from kiloliters to liters, you multiply, then that would be multiplying by 10 in each direction. Okay? And so I hope this helps. You have conversion practice in the independent practice, and then also don't forget you have a test coming up on Wednesday and Thursday, September 16th and 17th.